From many new superheroes having their fair share of screen time, to finally bringing an old character to the big screen to rival the MCU, the Blue Beetle might just be DC's secret weapon against Marvel. And who knows, DC might just go up against Marvel like the good old days. But as of now, DC hasn't been performing very well. DC's movie universe has had its fair share of ups and downs, with some films not doing as well as expected, or getting mixed reviews from fans and reviewers alike. Black Adam and Shazam! Fury of the Gods both massively underperformed at the box office, which clearly reflects the recent decline of DC. Even though both movies had the ability to do well and starred well-known characters, they couldn't quite find their footing and failed at the box office. Marvel, on the other hand, has had a lot of success at the box office, and people continue to sing the franchise's praises. Not to say that it hasn't had problems with its most recent releases. Some of these movies have been called meh or underwhelming, which has made fans and reviewers wonder if Marvel is starting to lose its momentum. Considering DC and Marvel's recent missteps, adding Blue Beetle to the DC cinematic universe could open up multiple opportunities. It could give DC the chance to re-energize their brand and hopefully catch up to Marvel's offerings. Blue Beetle is a character with a long past and many different adaptations and personas, which could make a movie about him interesting and fun to watch. If the Blue Beetle film does well, it could bring in new fans and please old ones by showing a side of the DC universe that hasn't been looked at in depth before. This would help DC grow its cinematic universe and give it a unique chance to compete with Marvel's films on a more even playing field. But if DC wants Blue Beetle to be as good as Marvel's films, they need to carefully plan and carry out their next steps. They need to majorly focus on good storytelling, character growth, and a well-paced story. They should also learn from their past mistakes. Lately, Marvel's ability to make a movie that really stands out in the world of superheroes has dropped significantly. If DC can take advantage of the project's unique appeal and make a good film, they might be able to get back on track at the box office and become a bigger player in the superhero film genre. This could make it possible for more interesting and diverse stories to be told in the DC cinematic universe, which could lead to new competition with Marvel. Even though spiders aren't bugs or insects, Spider-Man's villains often call him that, so it's easy to see how Blue Beetle can be compared to Marvel's superhero. Both heroes are proud to wear their names on their chests, which makes this resemblance between them even clearer. I wonder if Spider-Man would look good in all blue. Jokes aside, I truly hope DC doesn't continue to make the same mistakes it's been making as of late. Yes, I'm talking about why their movies have been flopping. It's not about the content of movies like Black Adam and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. The content isn't even that bad. They low-key have entertaining content. It's actually the egos of the people behind the scenes that cause DC to fail. Yes, you heard that right. It's all because of ego. The fun, family-friendly superhero movies written by David Sandberg didn't do very well at the box office. Black Adam, the well-known bad guy from Shazam, got his own movie at the end of 2022, but neither movie mentioned the other, according to a reported story. This was because actor Dwayne Johnson stopped Shazam from joining Black Adam. If that's true, then it was also possible for Black Adam to show up in Fury of the Gods. But it's also possible that comic book fans who would normally support the movie knew that the DCU would be getting a new start soon. They're still waiting for it. Younger viewers might want to avoid movies that don't matter to a bigger story in a cinematic universe where continuity is important. Some movie stars like The Rock, Zachary Levi, and others may have let their egos get in the way of their projects by thinking they're bigger than the character and film itself. Things just don't work like that. But on the flip side, Blue Beetle might just be a game changer for the DC franchise. Could he actually be DC's new face? When fans heard that a Blue Beetle movie was going to be made, they asked one important and seemingly obvious question: who is the new hero in the DCU? Since Henry Cavill's role as Superman was canceled and Wonder Woman 3 is being changed, it makes sense to add a new superhero to the world. DC has created a new superhero figure who carries on the tradition of giving his powers to others. Even though Jaime Reyes is still a teenager, he's the new Blue Beetle. He has a great personality because he grew up in an average American home and had to deal with everyday problems. And everyone knows DC has brought figures like Batman, the Joker, and Harley Quinn into the world more than once through different adaptations. Blue Beetle is one of the most important figures in DC Comics, but he hasn't been on the big screen until now, so the expectations are surely high. Jaime Reyes, along with Dan Garrett and Ted Kord, was one of the 3 people who inherited the Blue Beetle. He was a pretty normal high school student with a hardworking father, a nurse mother, and a spoiled younger sister. Jaime's life changed, though, when Ted Kord seemed to lose the Scarab, which had given Dan Garrett, the first Blue Beetle, his powers. During his trip to the Rock of Eternity, Ted loses his Scarab and is killed by Maxwell Lord. However, the innards of the Scarab are blown up during the fight between Shazam and Spectre. Jaime finds the Scarab on his way home from school and takes it home because he's interested. During the night, the Scarab wakes up and ties itself to Jamie's spine, as if it wants to find a new host so it can keep living in the world. From this point on, his life takes a dramatic turn because the Scarab not only gives him powerful armor, but also sometimes takes control of his body. After running into Batman and other famous DC heroes and criminals more than once, Jaime came to see the Scarab as a gift from God that would help him protect his city and hopefully the universe. The upcoming Blue Beetle movie will supposedly tell some of the story of how Jaime Reyes got to be who he is, in turn leaving more questions about his future adventures in the DC universe. And his powers could actually benefit the franchise. Since the Blue Beetle is connected to Jaime's spine, he can call it to him whenever he wants and use its powers. Most of Blue Beetle's powers come from his suit, which is strong enough to protect Jaime from strikes that could kill him. Some of the most common features are an energy gun, a sword, a shield, and power blades that are a foot long that can cut through a tree trunk in a second. Depending on the conditions, the suit can also turn into a set of wings that can let him fly and protect him. Jaime also gets better eyesight from the Scarab, which allows him to see things in other dimensions. Luckily, Jaime has access to weapons that even one of DC's most powerful characters, Spectre, can't handle, because they could cause so much damage if used carelessly. If the new rebooted DCU stays true to the books and makes the most of his character in future installments, maybe his abilities will be put to good use. Since Warner Brothers released the first trailer in early April, millions of people have watched the official DC trailer, and over 400,000 people have liked it. The film, directed by Angel Manuel Soto, is getting positive buzz, and if everything goes well, it could make between $250 million and $300 million around the world. So, from making changes to their approach to filmmaking to introducing a new superhero, this is why Blue Beetle is DC's secret weapon against Marvel.